Good morning. For the record, I'm Chris Young, Chair of the HDC Sign Advisory Committee. Let's confirm access. Members, please respond with an aye. Mark Catone.
Aye.
Paul Wolf.
Aye.
And for staff, we have Nikki Sheriff.
Here.
This open meeting of the HDC's SAC is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020. That order, posted with agenda materials for this meeting, allow public bodies to convene remotely so long as public access to deliberations is reasonably provided. The meeting is convening via Zoom with audio and video recording available on the town's YouTube channel. We will feature public comment. Materials provided to members for the meeting or provided during the meeting are, unless otherwise noted, available on the town's website. During the meeting, I'll introduce agenda topics and speakers. Please remember to mute your Zoom audio until your name is called, and direct comments and questions through the chair to avoid crosstalk and make taking of minutes easier. Votes will be conducted by roll call. We will move on to the meeting. We'll call it to order at 9:02 a.m. on March 4th, 2025. Do we have any public comments? Anybody on the line? Oh, Nikki.
Oh, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
just for meeting purposes, can you just have Kevin confirm that he's here?
Thank you. Kevin, are you present? Kevin?
Yep.
Kevin Kuster.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you. Do we have any members of the public on the call wishing to discuss anything that is not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none. Do we have any commissioner comments that would like to be made? Open that up to everybody. Okay, seeing none. We have two sets of minutes, one from July 23rd, 2024, and one from February 18th, 2025. Would anybody like to comment on those or make a motion for approval?
I move approval of both of them.
Okay, thanks.
Second.
Thanks, Mark. Kevin, are you in favor?
I'm going to abstain. I wasn't at one of those.
Okay. Thanks, Mark. Are you in favor?
Aye.
And Paul?
Aye.
Okay, I am as well. Thanks for getting those to us, Nikki. Let's move on to new business. We have.
And then, sorry, one more thing.
Yes.
The person that dialed in, could you just identify yourself, please?
The 203 number.
Yeah, I just need it.
This is Sign here. This is Sign here.
Oh, okay. I see you twice. All right, thank you.
I don't know what happened. Yeah, thanks.
All right, thanks.
Okay, great. Speaking of Sign here, you guys have the first four items on the agenda. So let's start at 18 Federal Street for Asha. Go ahead and introduce us to this application.
Sure. I'm not sure where the agenda is usually posted, but I couldn't see it in the meeting link, so I actually have no idea the order of the.
Okay, I'm bringing it up now. 1 second.
Yeah, I'll just say we're gonna do
no
Asha,
problem.
Doan, and then Hot House, and then we're moving on to the Artists Association. So we'll start with Asha.
8614001.
I don't know what that is, but okay. So Asha is a 22 by 22 double-sided hanging sign. The sign that was there previously at 18 Federal was the Vanderbilt sign, which is also pictured in this application for a reference. It's going to be carved and painted using the existing bracket. And we're looking at a light blue and a white, similar to Alice Walk, which is also on that same street.
Okay, great. Why don't we go Mark, Kevin, Paul for the first reviews here? So Mark.
Yeah, can I see the Vanderbilt sign that they said is included here as well, please? And back up, I think they've shown it in the new sign in context. Can I just see that, please? Okay. And for clarification, this is just fully painted, is that right?
It's painted and carved,
And carved, okay,
and the edging would be beveled.
got it. I don't think I have any concerns or comments at this time.
Okay, thanks. Kevin?
I just like a little clarification as to what is carved.
So it's a double-sided hanging sign, and
Right.
the letter, everything on the sign will be carved, and the edge detailing will be beveled and painted white. A
Okay,
similar idea is reflected in Alice Walk, which is right behind that sign, where they have that beveled white edge.
Okay, so all the lettering is carved as well.
That's correct.
Okay. I don't mind the sign itself or the graphics. I think that the background color is too light. And it's going to be too bright. I understand there's a blue one next to it, and I'm not crazy about that one either, but I just don't think it's fitting in all that well with the architecture as far as color goes. The other thing I want to add is that I know it says that the lighting is existing on the bracket, but we've talked about this many times before. The lighting for that building, I don't believe was ever approved. And I really don't like to see us approving lighting just because it exists. So those are my comments. Thanks.
Thanks, Kevin. Paul?
I have no additional comments, Chris, thank you.
Okay, thanks. I I don't mind the blue. I think that it's, assuming it's not going to be a vibrant blue, I think that I'm okay. I know Asha, that's sort of her color. But lighting is on the application, just says existing. So we would, if it's approved, we would just need to remind the need for minimal wattage. Those are my comments.
Sure,
Would
if I
any-
may add.
Yeah, Mark.
Google Street View confirms that lighting's been in place since at least 2008 on that building in those locations.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, and
they
I
were approved
see.
in 2008, but they have been there for not quite 20 years, I guess.
Right, and we can see from this photo, every sign has
Yeah,
lighting on it.
right.
Okay, so and Kevin, just because I'm familiar with Asha's colorway, having my wife have several boxes of hers in her collection, it's not a vibrant blue. It not just to sort of give you a almost. I would say that the Alice Walk is a more vibrant blue, as portrayed in this picture. So if that's of any consolation.
It's just hard to believe that those lights have been. I've been complaining about those lights since 2008. I'm feeling old.
Well, do we want to make any motions on this application?
I'd make a motion to approve as submitted.
Do we have a second on that?
Second,
Thanks, Paul. Kevin, I'll give you the first vote. And Paul
aye.
and Mark,
Aye.
I am as well. So, all right,
Thank you.
thank you. So we're moving to 32 Main Street next. Two applications. The first one is the projecting sign.
Yeah, would it be easier for me to kind of review the entire application, or do you want me to do them individually?
Why don't you do both? We'll make motions separately, but yeah, they're sort of to be reviewed
Okay.
together. That's a good idea.
Okay, so it looks like the 12 by 18 sign is up first. This is the same location where Black Dog was, so we're essentially replacing the same signage that Black Dog had. There's a bracket, if you just wanted to go back up there. Well, you can see it right here in the approved. Oh, I'm not sure why this is black and white, but you can see right here in the approved application I pulled from the Plus office that the Black Dog had a sign in that bracket as well. So we're just looking to replace that signage with the new business's sign, which is Doan. It's going to be the same size as the sign that was there previously. It's going to be an Essex green with a cream white border and lettering, and this will be carved and painted. A double-sided hanging sign to the left of the door there. And then they're also looking to replace the quarterboard style sign that they had over the door with a smaller sign than Black Dog had. So this sign would be 8 inches by 36 inches. Black Dog was a little bit bigger, still at 8 inches, but I think it was closer to 7 or 8 feet. This will be mostly carved, but the lettering and flourishes will be painted. Again, it's the Essex green and cream color.
Okay, thank you. So let's have the discussion center on both together. We will make separate motions, but it just makes sense to discuss these together, I think. We'll go Kevin, and then Paul, and then Mark.
I don't have any big concerns with either one of these signs. I think it would be a little more handsome, especially for Main Street, if it was all carved. But these are certainly acceptable. I noticed that the smaller sign on your application, you referred to 8 by 12 inches. I think you meant to say 18 by 12. Other than that, that's all I have to say.
Thanks, Kevin. Paul?
I'm assuming that this, the one over the door is replacing an existing sign that we approved?
Yep, it's replacing Black Dog.
Okay. If we approved it, so be it. I just surprised that we approved it right on the bricks and not down over the door, but that being the case, I have no questions.
Okay, thanks, Mark.
Yeah, I like the others, don't really have a concern with this. I guess just a question though. We have Essex green, which is totally fine on the signage. I'm just curious, what is the color of the trim on that building? Is that also an Essex green or is it a black?
So right now, currently, it is not the Essex green. I believe they are applying for that separately through the HDC process to change that to Essex green. So that's the entire mock-up of their idea. Yeah.
Okay, so that'll coordinate. Yeah, no concern. Thank you.
Okay, I agree with everybody. I think these are appropriate and attractive signs. So let's make a motion one at a time. First is the projecting sign. Does somebody want to make a motion on that?
I'd make a motion to approve as submitted.
Second.
Okay, thanks. We'll give that to you, Kevin, and Paul. Or yeah, Paul, are you in favor?
Aye.
And Kevin?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
I am as well. How about a motion for the wall sign?
I'd make
So
a motion
moved.
for, yeah, okay.
Kevin, you got the motion. Would somebody like the second?
Second.
Thanks. And Paul, are you in favor?
Aye.
And Mark?
Aye.
And Kevin?
Aye.
I am as well. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. And the last one, you're representing 53 Main Street. Tell us about that.
Yes. Yep. I also have the business owners on the line as well, where they might make a few comments in addition to me. But so right now we're looking to add a sign for an upstairs business using the same door as Cogden and Coleman. We're looking to put an 18 by 40 inch double-sided hanging sign, as well as add a bracket for that sign over the door. It's going to be a little bit higher than Cogden and Coleman so that it's more visible, because if it was the same height as Cogden and Coleman, it would have trouble being viewed from either side of the street. It's similar size to Cogden and Coleman. Their sign is sized at 45 by 16, whereas this sign we're looking at 18 by 40. And if you wanted to scroll down through one of the pictures, there's a better representation of where the business is in relation to the door as well, right there. So they're going to be occupying the space above those two windows right there. I'm not sure if the business owner wants to make any additional comments, but.
Hi, my name is Deborah Kessler. I just wanted, um, I just wanted to state that it is a first-year business, as you know, and people aren't aware that there will be a business on that floor. That it's super important for us to have some visible sign that people are better aware.
Okay, thank you. And just to be clear, so that there's the Hot House Nantucket sign or that last image we saw, that's not a wall sign that's being applied for or considered, correct? That's just telling us the location of the business.
Correct.
No, that's not a wall sign. That's just, yeah. That's
Okay,
just
okay, didn't want to have that create any confusion. So it's just a projecting sign with a new bracket on the side of the door. Okay. I think we're up for Paul and then Mark and then Kevin.
Thank you. There's a lot of wording on the sign. I don't know if it's appropriate to comment, but if it's a Pilates and yoga place, that would probably be sufficient to say. But Kevin, I mean Chris, the other reaction is, does it meet the guidelines as far as the building? It's on a different building, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know where the first building ends and the next building's, what
Yeah.
the delineation is. It does meet, I looked up the size, it meets the size guidelines to the exact square inch. And so for everybody's reference, I can verify that.
I think the stairway is in Congdon and Coleman's building, because the building on the right, where this is going to be upstairs, used to be Brock Insurance. Now it's, I don't know what it is now. But if that isn't our problem, I guess. So I guess I really don't have any questions.
Well, just to clarify, that is the door that you would be entering to get to this business, correct?
Yes. Hi,
Okay.
I'm Lauren.
Hi, Lauren.
Nice to meet you. That is where the customers would be able to enter the door to go upstairs to the yoga studio.
Okay. Yeah, just to make sure that's at or near the public entrance. Okay. Paul, any other comments?
Yeah, I guess now that you're putting this on the screen, I have a question. There's a sign next to the door there that I think says Congdon and Coleman and things like that on it. Is that going to all stay in place? And is Congdon and Coleman agreeable to all this?
Their signage will remain the same.
Okay.
Okay.
No more questions.
Thanks. Mark?
I guess I have a few concerns. I know on Center Street, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we have encouraged the brackets to be aligned versus staggering. I think I prefer to see this sit in alignment with the Congdon Coleman bracket. I understand there's a visibility concern, but I think from the right angles it'll be visible, and you're really talking on the approach from top of Main heading downhill, certainly visible heading uphill. And if anything, it's maybe screening Congdon Coleman's existing sign if that were the case. But I think I'd rather architecturally see some consistency of the armatures on the facade. Second, I have some reservations, and with the color. I know it's a dark blue white, and it may be just something I need to think about or view the street. It's not feeling, I guess, overall as a design very Main Street. and I know that's not really a good description of the concern, but it's not very traditional in nature, and I think we've tried to press specifically along the core and Main Street for more traditional approaches to signs. I think I know block lettering is permissible. I think the A is not a standard A up. We would encourage. And overall, the sign just feels, again, a little bit too crisp and clean. I know we've got serifs on the descriptive below, which I appreciate. I frankly would just like to see this sign go in a little bit more of a traditional nature and its bracket being lowered. It would be nice to see it actually in a black and white as well, I guess. And, even though that's probably an approvable color combination in general, and we've certainly have used colors in the past, certainly the blue. I expect my fellow commissioner Kevin will have similar concerns and maybe will be more vocal than I. So thank you. That's all for now.
Thank you, Mark. Kevin?
Yes, of course, I agree with everything Mark said. I have a big issue with the addition of this sign to Main Street. There are already 2 signs at the entrance to this building that is clearly in our regulations. When we do have businesses on second floors, they're usually in a directory or a smaller application sign. I have rarely ever seen us approve another sign, a third sign for an entrance to a building. So I'm very much opposed to that part of the proposal. I would also further agree with Mark that, you know, the design of this is, you know, far too contemporary, you know, for Main Street. A simple solution would probably be to do it in black and gold or something that's a little more restrained. But frankly, this feels like a product label, you know, and not a historic approach to a sign. So I'm primarily, you know, against, you know, applying, you know, a new sign to, you know, to Main Street. I would definitely not want to see it staggered and zigzag up and down. But they've also got a menu box or another box of some kind on the door down below with a, you know, lower panel. So I really think they need to look for some other solutions instead of trying to force another sign on Main Street. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Kevin. My first concern was the height. I, like Mark pointed out, on Center Street and another, I think down on Main Street close to the Black Dog, where we were just reviewing, we've asked for consistency clearly on each side of a doorway. I think that's important. I do believe that the Condon Coleman's, because one is a real estate office and one's the insurance agency, they've sort of been able to manipulate the sign, or not manipulate, but use the sign guidelines in separate instances. In other words, the real estate office being on the second floor has those 2 existing signs. So the menu box and the projecting sign I'm referring to. I'm trying to recall if there's other instances where we have projecting signs on either side of a doorway. I was thinking about the Lemon Press and the upstairs studio that was before us a few years back, and I don't recall how that was reviewed or approved ultimately. But given this is a second floor location, I think it needs signage or deserves signage according to the guidelines. So I don't disagree with you, Kevin, but I also am not sure if this isn't perhaps the best option, understanding their need for signage and the right to have it. I agree also that I think that if the blue, the applicant's nice you're online, so you could maybe respond to this, but would changing the color scheme, one of the things that strikes me is that's a very cream colored trim that the doors and windows and fascia are painted, and I'm wondering if trying to tie that in with the sign color would help just associate it with the building a little more, maybe allay some of the concerns of the other board members. In other words, would, you know, changing the bright white to a cream that matches that trim help anybody's review of this. So those are my comments. I'm not sure, since it's a weird situation in that Condon and Coleman is occupying the second floor to the left, and, you know, is it one building, is it two buildings? It's hard to delineate. So, and this is clearly the second floor of the space to the right. So those are my thoughts. I would not object to a projecting sign, I guess is my point, but I do think it has to feel more appropriate in its design and location. So, having heard all of the commissioners' comments, let's just allow the applicants to respond with any thoughts that you might have.
I would definitely not be opposed to changing the color of the sign, as well as lowering it down to the same height that you feel is appropriate. And I appreciate you recognizing the fact that it is a second floor business, and it would feel tough for people to know there was a yoga studio on the second floor without a sign. So I would be willing to work with you to have a sign that you feel looks more appropriate with the building, with color scheme.
Okay, so we'll go right back around to commissioners again, just to sort of continue this conversation in order. I believe we started with Paul, then Mark and Kevin.
I would move approval with the changes that she just made, dropping it down to the level of the other projecting signs, changing the color, as we discussed.
Okay, before you make that motion,
Yeah,
is that a formal motion?
no, withdraw it.
Okay. I just want to have everybody weigh in, just so that we do have a chance for a full conversation. So hold your motion if you would, please. Mark?
I'd actually like to see this come back to us. It sounds like they're open to some of our suggestions. I would like to see it before, once more, before moving for approval. I think so what we're talking about is a adjustment of the bracket as suggested, a palette change in terms of color. Maybe it's a black and cream or something like that. And I would also encourage some adjustment to the hothouse font to something that's a little bit more traditional, maybe a little heavier lettering or something of it, just again to feel a bit more Main Street in its design. So sounds like the applicant is open to some of these changes, and if we could have, but I would like to, I think I'd like to have the opportunity to review it prior to making an approval. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Kevin?
I agree with what Mark just said. I still, however, would also like to see other ways to explore this. I frankly don't think that you need to have a projecting sign to have awareness for this building. There's other ways to, get a sign here without having to put another one in. But I think I'm alone on that. So anyway, I agree with Mark's comments. I think it would be worth seeing again. And if they insist on going with that typography, I would recommend that it be at the 15%, because at that point it becomes a logo. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for pointing that out. I was going to say the same. Yeah, I think tying this sign, because it's going to be so closely associated with that Congdon and Coleman sign, is, visually, it would be nice to have either black and cream as the color combination. I think that at least it would be, if it was black and gold, it might kind of blend too much, but having it be the black and cream would certainly help the two associate with each other and yet give this a little unique identity. I think the height of the bracket needs to be the same as far as, I would say that the horizontal piece of the bracket should be at the same height as the horizontal piece of the Congdon and Coleman bracket. And as far as the hothouse, yeah, if it could either put some little serifs on those letters. I realize it's probably a logo. If you want to keep it as a logo, realizing that the 15% rule means it shouldn't occupy more than 15% of the sign. So that looks a little bit more than that, the way it's drawn now. Just consider those, but I would not be objecting to a projecting sign here. So I hope
Motion
that
to
we're
hold
giving
for
you.
revisions.
Thank you, Kevin.
Second,
Paul, are you in, or excuse me, Mark, are you in favor?
Aye.
And Paul
aye.
and Kevin?
Aye.
Okay. So hopefully we gave you some clear direction there.
Hi, this is Deborah Kessler.
Hi.
We are agreeable to the black and cream. So I'm just a little unclear. What else would you like us to
Well,
present?
you're working with sign here. Those guys are great. They can help give, based on our recommendations. It's really just talking about the fonts. We've
Okay.
sort of closed our discussion on it, but I think they can give you some advice, and they're familiar with the direction that we're trying to head with this.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, thank you, Deborah. All right. We've got one more sign to review today, and that is for moving the Artists Association. We have Francine Balling on the line. Is that true?
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. I'd also like to introduce you to Tracy Sears, our Executive Director.
Good morning. Thanks for your time this morning. Well, I hope you heard our exciting news, which is we are moving to 8 Federal Street. And in order to fund our new building, we are selling 19 Washington Street, which has been our home there for the Cecilia Joyce and Stuart Johnson Gallery. What we're asking of you today is just simply moving our Artists Association of Nantucket sign from 19 Washington to our new location, 8 Federal. We close on March the 14th.
And if you go to the next slide, you can see that we have dropped, well, that's our colors, which is hard to see. And there should have been one more page showing the
Do you see it on the new building?
quarter board on the new building.
Go the other way.
Wait. Maybe up one? One more. That's
No,
our old one.
That's our old one.
There should be, it's,
Oh, it looks like Nikki didn't.
Oh, there it is.
Oh.
no, keep going.
That's the old one.
Yeah.
Oh,
You see
hold
that?
on. Well, this is the old approval that I had attached so that they had reference of that. I don't have anything else, but guys, you can look on Tracy's screen.
Yeah, sorry, that was part of the package.
Okay, we
So-
probably missed that.
Just as an FYI, obviously the Lucille Jordan hanging sign will come down, and we're just asking to move our quarter board from one location to the other.
Yeah, the sign there for Lucille's the one that hangs out, and ours will just be a quarter board.
Okay. So that entire bracket, everything is going to be removed from the building.
Yes, Jordan will be removing that.
Okay. And is lighting a part of this application in any way?
There's no
Okay.
lighting in this application, sir. It's just
Okay.
the quarter board.
Okay. All right. I believe we're back to where Kevin, Paul, Mark. Forgive me if I went out of our rotation there, but we'll go Kevin, Paul, Mark.
I have no concerns with moving the sign here. I'm just a little confused as to where it's going to be positioned, if it's under the windows or is it the trim. So that's a question. And then I guess is there anything else planned for this? There's a lot of stuff there right now.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
assuming
lots-
not. Anyway, that's that's the main question I have, is just where it's going.
We plan to put it above the door.
So on the trim.
Where above?
So
Can
I
you
guess
just
my
show,
question,
would you show your photograph again?
Sure.
Since that's, that'll help us. Nikki, we need to put her at the front of the line for speaking or screen sharing.
I would, just to jump, it looks like that is gonna be an awkward positioning on that trim, and I think that's probably where Kevin's headed. And I wonder if we should be thinking about, once that bracketed wall sign comes down, the projecting sign, excuse me, whether it actually should be maybe below the windows on that shingle face, between that.
Yeah.
I don't see it gracefully attaching itself as an existing sign on that broken frieze above the window. I don't think there's enough vertical surface space. It looks like it would be padded out and sort of hang, if you will, off the top portion of that frieze. And it looks like where maybe there were window boxes at one time, you can see the light shingles that it actually wants to maybe quite possibly sit up there. Because I don't see it gracefully attaching itself to the architecture below.
yeah,
We were a little concerned that because there is that little lip, that if you were on the street, you might not see it, even if we put it close up to right below the window. So we thought maybe by hanging it from the trim, it would be more visible that it's the Artists Association, because we're not having a vertical sign.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would add to that is that I think the nature of the business and the amount of glass that this affords you sort of clearly speaks to it being a gallery. So I think your greatest advertisement is actually going to be your paintings and pieces of art on display behind those windows. I think the visibility is going to be greatly enhanced once the real estate signage has been, clearly removed or has been already removed. And then I would add also that I would like to see the menu boxes removed. We should have a little discussion on that too.
They will be.
Okay, that's good. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm sorry, Chris, I totally jumped the line, but if we, I think if we're looking, I think it's going to be a challenge that, in my opinion anyway, I don't know if the other commissioners share the same opinion, but I think it's going to be challenging to attach that sign to the architecture of the existing frieze design, and that I think they should consider that. I think it will be okay on that shingled piece above. I know, I think it just fits better. Otherwise, we're looking at something that's going to be much smaller in quarterboard nature, right above that storm door in the yellow portion between the bottom of the frieze, or fits within the second tier down of that frieze, which then I think you do have identification challenges in terms of signage and being able to reuse your sign in totality. I think up on the shingle face might be more successful. Those would be my comments. You don't have to come back to me.
Thanks, Mark. And Paul, would you like to weigh in?
Following up on Mark's concerns, I don't remember how wide the current sign is. Not wide, the height, what the height is. Is it 6 inches? Is it 8 inches?
It's 8 inches wide, Paul,
Okay.
and 13 feet long.
Okay, so back to the picture. I don't think it would fit on the
Trim.
above the windows. On that board, I don't think that's 8 inches. So it would overlap the top of the pilasters. So I agree it doesn't fit there. So I think I would go along with Mark and put it on the shingles.
Shingles.
Yeah, I have the same concerns. I think that's the right place where I can't, it's obstructing architectural details, and hanging it where it's suspended, the bottom half would be suspended below that top fascia would just not be appropriate. So I think that is the appropriate location to cover up sort of where those faded shingles are. And to just bring up a concern, I know that in the past, the gallery on Washington Street has been on our violations list for all sorts of signage that, you know, comes and goes. There's banners that get put up announcing various events and things like that. So this is our opportunity to say, please, you know, be aware of the guidelines, be aware of the fact that those are not allowed. And I would not want this to be an approved sign, but then turn out to not be the only sign that, whether it's temporary banners or you know, other things that might appear in the doorway or the windows. However, having said that, businesses are allowed 2 signs, whether it's a menu box. In this case, I think that they've exceeded that by putting 2 menu boxes up. I'm not sure that those are approvable either in the way that they're located, but if visibility becomes a concern, there might be an opportunity to apply for a second sign that meets the guidelines. So just, those are my thoughts. I do think the location is best, as other board members have suggested.
Well, thank you. We're comfortable putting it on the shingles, and you know, and if we decide, you know, it's all happening very fast. Once we decide, kind of figure out the new space, if we want to have another sign, we would come to you with that, of course, and respect all of your rules. And but thank you. We're happy to put it on the shingle below the 2 upstairs windows.
So I would make a motion based on that for the application for this wall sign to the suggested location on the shingle face below the 2 existing windows. And I would ask if they could adjust their application to reflect that by adding the graphic, which appears to be missing in this application, with the relocated sign as discussed.
Thanks, Mark. Would you add, before that gets, could we also add just what is being removed?
Yeah, and conditionally also the removal of the 2 existing menu boxes. And I'll go as far as window signage. I think that's gone, but just to confirm.
Okay, thank you, Mark, for that. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Kevin, are you in favor?
Aye.
And Paul?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
And I am as well. So thank you for that application, and good luck in your new location.
Thank you very much for your time. Have a good day.
You too. That concludes new business. We have enforcement next. Nikki, I'll turn it over to you.
I don't have any updates this week. I guess I'll just remind you to send me those ones. I know you have a busy schedule. But no updates, and I still haven't heard back from DCR regarding the state forest signs. I can send a follow-up email in regards to that. Oh.
Thank you. Yeah, Paul, I apologize. I was away last week when you sent me some more items, so I will be downloading those. Actually, one request I would have, if folks could email me. I've received some by text that just takes me into another step of having to send the text to my email and et cetera, et cetera. So if anybody's sending me information to forward, an email would be helpful, but I will get those photographs over to Nikki in the next day or so. Any other questions? Oh, yes, Nikki.
Well, this isn't regarding enforcement, but just to be clear, couldn't really hear Mark. So Mark, could you just repeat your motion regarding the one that we just did, please? I just want to have it clearly for tonight.
Yeah, my motion was to approve the relocation of their existing sign, however, located on the shingle face below the 2 existing windows, and removal of the 2 existing menu boxes and any window signage.
Okay, thank you. Got it.
Thank you. Any other comments from commissioners regarding enforcement or questions? Seeing none. Any other motions related to adjournment?
Motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
Thanks, Paul. Kevin, are you in favor?
Aye.
And Paul?
Aye.
And Kevin?
Aye.
I'm sorry, Mark.
Aye.
Thank you, Nikki. Thanks for your time. Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.